Most people think their biggest problem with self-confidence is a lack of physical beauty. They believe their reflection is a lie they tell themselves to feel better, and that the camera is the only objective truth teller in the room. But the truth is far more uncomfortable. You've been there. You spend 20 minutes in front of the bathroom mirror. You tilt your head, you catch the light, and you see it. The version of you that feels aligned. A 10 out of 10. You walk out that door feeling like you could own the world. Then, an hour later, a friend snaps a candid photo. They tag you on Instagram. You look at the screen and your heart sinks. The person staring back at you looks like a stranger. The jawline is gone, the eyes are asymmetrical, the smile looks forced. In that moment, the domino effect begins. One photo knocks over your mood, that ruined mood knocks over your social confidence, and by the end of the night you're sitting in the corner, wondering if you've been delusional your entire life. Is the mirror a liar? Or is the camera a thief? To understand why you feel like a 2/10 in a digital world, we have to look past the glass and deep into the architecture of your brain. We have to deconstruct the mirror paradox. The problem isn't your face. The problem is familiarity. Think about the first time you heard a recording of your own voice. You likely hated it. You thought, do I really sound that high-pitched? Is that really how I come across? You felt a sense of internal betrayal. This happened because you hear your voice through the bones of your skull, which deepens the resonance. When you hear a recording, you're hearing the true sound everyone else hears, but to you, it feels like a cheap imitation. The mirror versus photo struggle is the visual version of that betrayal. Since the day you were old enough to stand on a stool to brush your teeth, you have viewed yourself through a reflection. But a mirror is a physical lie. It flips the world. It shows you a left-to-right reversal of your features. Because human faces are naturally asymmetrical, one eye is slightly higher, one side of the mouth curves more, you have spent decades falling in love with a reversed version of yourself. When a camera takes a photo, it doesn't flip the image back to what you're used to. It shows you the way the world sees you. To your friends, this is normal. But to your brain, this unflipped version is a glitch in the matrix. This is the first domino. Because your brain perceives a deviation from the mirror image, it interprets that deviation as a flaw. You don't see you. You see a distorted version of you. Your brain screams that something is wrong, and because we are our own harshest critics, we label that wrongness as ugliness. We take a technical difference and turn it into a moral failing. To truly understand this, we need to talk about the mere exposure effect. In social psychology, the mere exposure effect states that humans develop a preference for things merely because they are familiar with them. We like the songs we've heard 100 times. We like the route to work we've taken for years. And most importantly, we like the version of our face we see every morning. In 1977, researcher Theodore Mita conducted a fascinating study. He showed participants two photos of themselves. One was a normal photo and the other was a mirror image print. When asked which one they preferred, the participants overwhelmingly chose the mirror image. But when their friends were asked which photo they preferred, the friends chose the normal photo. The insight is staggering. You are the only person who thinks you look weird in photos. Everyone else in your life has mere exposure to your actual face. To them, your tagged photo is the 10 out of 10. To them, your mirror reflection would look slightly off. But there is a second psychological layer here. The frozen moment. When you look in a mirror, you are seeing a 3D, moving, breathing entity. You are constantly adjusting. If you don't like an angle, your brain subconsciously tilts your chin a fraction of a millimeter. You are seeing yourself in a state of flow. A camera, however, captures a static slice. It freezes you in 1/100th of a second. It catches you mid-sentence, mid-blink, or in a transition between expressions. Humans did not evolve to see themselves frozen in time. We evolved to see ourselves in motion. The domino effect of the 2/10 photo is fueled by the spotlight effect. This is the psychological phenomenon where we believe people are noticing our flaws as intensely as we are. You zoom in on a slight blemish or an awkward shadow under your eye in a tagged photo, and you assume everyone who scrolls past that photo is doing the exact same thing. The truth? They aren't even looking at your nose. They're looking at their own face in that same photo, wondering why they look like a 2/10. We are all protagonists in our own tragedies, mourning a reflection that no one else ever sees. Let's imagine a person named Alex. Alex is getting ready for a big promotion party. In the bathroom, Alex feels incredible. The suit fits perfectly, the hair is on point. Alex looks in the mirror and thinks, I've finally made it. This is the 10 out of 10 peak. Confidence is high. Alex goes to the party. He's laughing, networking, and being the soul of the room. He is living his mirror energy. Suddenly a colleague says, "Hey, everyone get together for a group shot." The flash goes off. The next morning, Alex is scrolling through his feed and sees the post. He is standing in the middle of the group, but because of the camera's wide-angle lens, which distorts the edges of the frame, and the lack of mirror flipping, Alex looks different. His face looks wider. His smile looks asymmetrical. Watch the dominoes fall. Alex doesn't just say, "Oh, that's a bad angle." He says, "Is that who I really am? Did I look like that while I was talking to the CEO? Everyone must have been laughing at me." The confidence from the night before evaporates. The next time there's a meeting, Alex stays quiet. He doesn't want to draw attention to the too tense he thinks he is. He stops taking risks. He starts avoiding cameras. He becomes a ghost of his former self, all because of a 2D digital image that doesn't even accurately represent 3D reality. What Alex doesn't realize is that the CEO saw the Alex from the party, the one with the energy, the voice and the presence. The CEO didn't see a static image, he saw a human being. We often allow one bad photo to rewrite the history of a good night. We let the technical limitations of a smartphone lens, focal length, lighting, and sensor compression dictate our internal worth. If you take a photo of a sunset with a cheap phone, the sunset looks small and grey. You don't blame the sunset. You don't say the sunset is a 2/10. You blame the camera. So why, when it comes to your own face, do you blame the sunset? The lesson is this: you are not a static image. You are a collection of movements, a sequence of expressions, and a frequency of energy. A camera is a tool that tries to flatten a soul into pixels. It is bound to fail. To break the domino effect of self-loathing, you must realize that photogenic is not a synonym for beautiful. Being photogenic simply means you have a face that translates well into 2D focal lengths. Some of the most stunning people in history were notoriously unphotogenic because their beauty was tied to their spirit, their movement and their warmth, things a lens cannot grasp. When you see a tagged photo you hate, I want you to practice cognitive reframing. Acknowledge the physics. Remind yourself that you are seeing an unflipped version of your face and your brain is experiencing a familiarity shock. It's a biological reaction, not a visual fact. Observe the moment, not the pixels. Instead of looking at your jawline, look at what you were doing. Were you laughing? Were you with people you love? That photo is a receipt of a life lived, not a modeling portfolio. Stop the comparison. Stop comparing your candid, a 1/100th of a second accidental snap, to your curated, the 20 minutes in the mirror where you controlled everything. It's an unfair fight. The 10 out of 10 you see in the mirror is the you that you feel. The 2/10 you see in the photo is just a technical error. Confidence isn't the belief that you look perfect in every photo. Confidence is the realization that your value is completely independent of the photo altogether. When you stop caring about the 2/10, you start living like a 10 out of 10. Most people think their biggest problem is their appearance. But the truth is, their biggest problem is their attachment to a reflection. The mirror is a useful tool for brushing your hair, but it is a terrible tool for measuring your soul. And the camera? The camera is just a witness that doesn't always know how to tell the whole story. You are a 3-dimensional masterpiece living in a world that is obsessed with 2-dimensional validation. Don't let a tagged photo become the ceiling of your potential. Don't let the domino effect of a bad angle knock down the house of your self-worth. The next time you see a photo of yourself that makes you want to hide, I want you to take a deep breath. Recognize the mirror paradox for what it is, a trick of the light and a habit of the brain. Your friends don't see the 2/10. They see the person who shows up for them. They see the person who makes them laugh. They see the 10 out of 10 that you've always been, even when the lens fails to capture it. You were not born to be a perfect image. You were born to be a powerful presence. Stop looking for yourself in the pixels. Start finding yourself in the moments where you forget the camera even exists. Because the most beautiful version of you isn't the one that's posed, it's the one that's present.